job, everybody. Good morning. Happy New Year. Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. I understand. We're going to get started, though, because time. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. We'll try that again. Good morning. And Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a good New Year's and holiday. And my name is Lisa, and I'll be presenting today's service along with Megan Rancier. Tina Jones and Steve Israel are providing technical assistance, and we thank them. And we thank our greeter, Bob Rex, today for doing a great job saying hi to everyone this morning. And our musical assistant today is going to be Laura Schutza. Say it right? Yeah. Okay. We greet you today as you join us in a wider search for truth and purpose. In this quest, may we encounter one another with open hearts and minds. May we inspire each other to consider new questions and seek deeper meaning. And may we cultivate wisdom and compassion. Let all who enter this place see a welcome face, hear a kind word, and find comfort in this community. May all that we do and say here today help us be a force for positive change in the world. For further news, please remember to read our weekly email, which provides comprehensive information about everything going on at MVUUC. Visitors, if you'd like to start receiving our weekly email, make sure to fill out one of the blue cards found in the seat back pockets, like this, and put the card in the box on the greeter's table. Sorry, I lost my place. Let's take a minute to meet our neighbors. The chalice will be lit today by David Love. Please join me in reading the words provided for you as we light the chalice. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to start the service today with a story for all ages. And this is one of those days where the kids aren't in in the room, but that's why it's a story for all ages. And this is not exactly a book. It's a video that someone put together to explain the shared values of Unitarian Universalism. And you'll notice that they explain the shared values in a way that is very accessible to all ages, and they explain it using your hands. So if you want to follow along with the hands in the video, this might help to start your journey of ingraining these shared values in your mind. And I will just say, yes, they are very silly as well. So hopefully there's some entertainment value in there as well. Okay. Sit or stand as you are willing and able by. As we're waiting, you might notice that there are handy-dandy pamphlets on your chairs today, continuing our theme of the shared values. So you have something to read while you're waiting. Oh, and I should mention the title of this video is A Handy Guide, pun intended, to the Values of Unitarian Universalism by Emily C. Jones.
No, not those principles. I'm talking about a different set of principles. Can all of you school principals go get the 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism for me?
Unless I'm not recognizing it. There it is. The beginning.
A handy guide to the values of Unitarian Universalism.
Thank you.
Unitarian Universalism has a set of values, ideas we believe are important. I'm going to help you learn them using my hands. Now, the values can be in any order you like. In this handy way of learning them, each one has a number, so you can follow along with your hands and fingers. We're going to start with the value of transformation. Imagine your fist is a seed. Now slowly unfurl your pointer finger like it's a sprout coming from the seed. Transformation means to adapt to a changing world and to grow spiritually. As your seed grows, it will look like the number 1, and that's how you can remember the first value, transformation. Our next value is equity. Hold up 2 fingers and turn them sideways. See how they kind of look like an equal sign? Equity means that everyone should be treated with inherent worth and dignity. This makes people feel like equals. That's how you can remember the value of equity. Value number 3 is pluralism. Hold up 3 fingers. Imagine 3 people with different ideas about God and who may have different cultures or experiences. Being able to hold many views at once and learn from each other is the value of pluralism. Our next value is justice. We're going to take our 4 fingers and curl them into a fist and hold it up high. This is a sign of strength. We need to be strong to dismantle racism and fight for justice. Value number 5 is generosity. Hold out your hand as though you are giving someone a gift. Generosity means to share the things you have that make a difference to others, like faith, presence, and resources. Our next value is love. Hold up 6 fingers. Use your pointer finger of one hand to trace a heart in the center of your other hand. Love is at the center of all of our values. Love is the power that holds us together. Our seventh value is interdependence. This is just a fancy word that means we're all connected to each other. Hold up 7 fingers. Walk your 2 fingers from one hand over to the palm of the other hand. Kneel them down to take a close look. Do you see how your palm is full of connecting lines like a web? We are connected and depend on one another. That's how you can remember interdependence. Those are our UU values. Remember that love is at the center and runs through all of our values. You carry love and values in your open mind, helping hands, and loving heart. What will you do with your values today?
Now is the time for sharing of joys and concerns. Tina, please stop recording at this time. Now it's time for our first musical selection, Years Are Coming, hymn number 166 in the gray hymnal, and Laura will accompany.
Anyone who plays D&D probably enjoyed that hymn with all the weaponry. I love that hymn, by the way. Thank you, Laura. Our opening words for today are an excerpt from a message from UUA President, Reverend Sophia Betancourt, PhD, titled Strength from the Smallest Seeds. The experience of wonder and awe that arises when I hold seeds in my hands has been consistent throughout my life. As a small child, I would collect honey locust seed pods and tuck them into the soil of my mother's plants, delighting as the baby trees emerged in pots around the apartment. I have blown dandelion seeds in the name of wish-making over the years, both for the joy of it all and for the sake of the bees. When I had the privilege to serve as interim minister at our UU Church of Fresno, California, I learned how 300-foot-tall giant sequoias in nearby Yosemite National Park grew from seeds just a quarter inch in size. And every year it is my role in our family gardening extravaganza to start plants from seeds, some as small in my hands as particles of dust. Each seed with its potential for new life teaches me something about needed conditions for the miraculous. Each parcel of DNA and food and possibility holds me accountable to my role in the wonder of things. It also serves as a reminder that connection, awareness, attention, and care allow me to participate in reciprocal relationships with the life in our garden that holds me when I falter and reflects beauty back to me every day. In this time, when holding fast to hope can be a struggle, may we draw strength from beloved community. Let us remember that the smallest seeds of our investment, our care, our embodied faith in the face of a world on fire, can, in fact, bring forth the miraculous. May this freely chosen faith and all that we hold in common cause strengthen you in the days to come. My gratitude in advance for how we hold and bear witness to our values in the world together. Right, so I'd like to start the reflection today by doing a guided reading with you through the text of Article 2 from the Bylaws and Rules of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And again, the material in the pamphlet that was on everyone's chair is going to be very similar to this, so you could do a read-along if you want. But I wanted to share the language that is directly from Article 2. By the way, the bylaws and rules for the UUA are the foundational document of the National UUA. And as a UU congregation, our own bylaws and ways of doing things are profoundly shaped by this document. So Article 2 contains a statement of the central beliefs and inspirations of Unitarian Universalism. And the current revised language was officially adopted in summer 2024, so very recently. Previously, we had 8 principles and 6 sources. But the new Article 2 has essentially taken the content of those principles and sources and reformulated them, or if you will, remixed them, in some cases expanding them. So because I believe it's critically important for us as a congregation to understand what the central shared values of Unitarian Universalism are, I thought we could look at Article 2 together. So let's dive in. I'm going to try to make sure it's not too boring. So the first part of Article 2, and by the way, we're not looking at the entire Article 2, just the first 2 sections. If you ever want to read the whole thing, it's online. So it reads, Section C 2.2, Values and Covenant. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant congregation to congregation and through our association to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values are... Oh, yes, I forgot. I have a magical device. Woo-hoo-hoo. The power. Okay, so this is the image you will find in Article 2. It's also on the pamphlet there. And so inseparable from one another, these shared values are interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity. And of course, love is at the center. So let's go through the complete explanations for each of these values, which are not in your pamphlet, but they are in Article 2. So let's start with interdependence. Interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. That's interdependence. Pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Pluralism. Justice. We work to be a diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where we all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive, democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large. That is justice. Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. Transformation. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. So that's generosity. And lastly, equity. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Equity. Now, for something a little different. Can anyone figure out or guess what this is? And here's a hint. It's a mnemonic device or a way of remembering. Actually, it's an acronym for those 6 shared values that I just described. Anybody want to take a guess? What do we see here? What? It's a pig. And what's on the pig's back? And what's coming out of the backpack? Flames. So it's not just a backpack, it's a jetpack. In other words, what we are seeing here is a pig jet. Or a jet pig. Yes, you're right. You're right, Tina. It's a jet pig. So you take the letters that start justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, and you get jet pig. And okay, maybe it's not the most elegant acronym ever created or conceived, but as a mnemonic device to help remember the shared values, I'll be honest, I actually find it very helpful. All right, so we're going to move from a mnemonic device to a thought exercise now. Part of the challenge of transitioning ourselves from the former 8 principles to the current shared values is figuring out how we are going to integrate these shared values into our congregations. What will justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, and love look like at MVUUC? How might we demonstrate these shared values within this congregation? And how can we live out our shared values in the world outside these walls? This is a particularly helpful thought exercise as we start a new year. A good moment to reassess and look ahead. So, what we're going to do now is hand out pencils and papers to everybody. So if you'll just give us 2 minutes to do that. And if anyone would like a clipboard to write on, please raise your hand and Lisa will come and give you one. You are, of course, welcome to write on the hymnals if you would like. That's also fine. So you have 2 questions on your sheet. Two questions on your sheet. The first question is, what is one way that MVUUC members, friends, and visitors can demonstrate our shared UU values to each other? So we're looking for one way, and this could encapsulate just one of the shared values, or it could encapsulate multiple shared values. The second question is, what is one way that MVUUC members, friends, and visitors can demonstrate our shared values in the wider community and the world? And as you're working, I'm just going to keep talking a little bit. You might think back to our story for all ages today and the question it posed. What will you do with your values today? So, and just a heads up, don't worry, I'll give you time to write, but we are going to do something called a think, pair, share. So after you're done writing, I'm going to have you all pair up and discuss your responses with another person, preferably somebody that you don't share a home with. But that's okay too. And then anyone who would like to share their paired discussions with the larger group may volunteer to do so. Finally, if you're willing to leave your responses with us, we will collect them, but if you'd rather hold on to them for yourself, that's fine too. So everyone take the next 3 minutes to write an answer to the 2 questions. And I think we have some writing music available. Maybe not. We do. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, students. How's everyone doing? Huh? Oh, all right. Is everyone ready? I still see a couple people writing, and I don't like to rush. You're doodling. Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay, so now is the time for the pair phase. So I'd like everybody to find a partner. It can be the person sitting right next to you, or it can be the person in front of you or behind you. Whatever is most convenient. You can move your chairs around if you want to, but I'm not going to make you do that this week. That was last week. So when you find a partner, and groups of 3 are fine too, by the way. Just a sec. So for the next 5 minutes, so we're going to take 5 minutes to discuss in our pairs or groups of 3. Does that sound okay? 5 minutes, and then I'll ring the bell. So enjoy.
Hello.
Is someone
I don't
on
know
with
if
me?
anyone. Hi.
Hi, Tina?
Yeah, hi, Melanie.
Well, should we discuss this?
Yeah,
I actually had trouble with the first
great. Go
question
ahead.
because I had trouble with it because I don't, even though I've heard what the meanings are, I don't think I grasp some of them very well.
Okay.
And so then to think of, well, gee, how do I demonstrate that? I don't know. Pluralism is a big one, but I think it means honoring all others' beliefs
Yeah,
in
keeping
God
your
or
mind
spirituality.
open. Yep.
Okay, so
Holding space for different ways of thinking.
okay, um, so that's kind of what I wrote. How can we demonstrate to others our shared values by how we treat each other, so that we listen to each other without prejudice or discounting those ideas and beliefs, but also being honest if we can't quite understand what is being said or feel like we're at a crossroads with what they're saying, or that, just being honest. I don't really understand what you're saying, or or just even giving some credit for sharing and saying, I will think about this. I'll consider this.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I
and
think
this
I
actually,
agree with you.
do you want to respond
So
to the question?
I don't know if anyone else is connected as far as like to respond, but I wrote, just continue to provide moral and physical support to one another, whether that's part of the generosity, probably, but also, the equity issue, because not everyone has equitable circumstances. So if we can help, then we offer that help. Were you able to hear that?
Yes. And I think that's very well put.
I don't know if anyone else is on that wants to talk. Greg or...
Charlie?
No, Charlie's here in person. Is there?
Okay, well, I don't know who's on, so.
No, you don't. Yeah, you can't see the list. Yeah, it looks like they haven't turned on their cameras or microphones, so that's okay.
Okay.
Just
Well,
you
then
and
the
I,
second
boo.
question, okay. And I feel like a lot of us do that morally and physically, sharing and helping each other. And now how do we demonstrate our values, our shared values to the greater community.
Right.
While being an artist, I think that's why through art came to me. If we could have some kind of a poster, maybe with seeds, and it would be, it would show the shared values, but it would be an invitation to come and visit one of our services to see what it's like. That's one way. Because
so having a poster, like where would you imagine that being put?
In the library.
Okay.
Maybe in the courthouse.
Yeah. Or at the university, or
at the university. I don't know if there's still that Christian, wait, what was it called? It was like a non-denominational Christian church, like across from the campus.
Okay.
That they are pretty open to things like this.
Right. Interfaith kind of collaboration.
So maybe other people would think of other places that it could go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Is it okay if I share that idea?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you.
So let's start to bring our discussions back. I wish we could keep the discussion going, and I apologize for interrupting because I really don't like to interrupt, but I'm glad that it sounded like the discussions were productive and lively, so that's great. It sounded good. So now, okay, we've done the think, we've done the pair. It's a think, pair, share. So we've done the think, we've done the pair, now we're at share. So would anyone from any of the groups like to share what their group talked about? Yeah. Kelsey.
Okay, so in our discussion pair / trio, we actually hit on the same sorts of topics, which was, and this actually answered both questions. The idea of expanding the care committee so that everybody in the church is part of the care committee. Yes, that was apparently something discussed in the discussion circle, and I wasn't there for that part this morning, but the parts that I wrote down and the parts that we discussed hit those topics. So it's a nice little like brain synergy there. Yeah.
Yes, and credit for Sue for originating that phrase. You are all on the care committee. I'm glad it's gaining ground, Sue. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you want to talk about that, Sue, or do you want me to talk about it? Okay, so the Caring Committee is one of the committees at MVUUC that basically is there when people need support. That can be in times of grief, in financial emergencies, and also for example, organizing support events or support efforts. So, maybe a memorial service or a meal train or something like that. Yeah. Did I capture it, you think? Okay. Excellent question. Thank you. And thank you, Sue. I saw your hand up, I think. Yes? Or, yeah? Oh, and Tina, I saw your hand up.
All right. So Marilyn and I talked about, how can we demonstrate our shared values to each other, welcoming, making sure that everybody is acknowledged, and support the Caring Committee, making sure, that we acknowledge each other's needs, acknowledge our own needs, and then work as a community to support those needs. And how can we do that into the wider community? One of the ways is we can show love, just in the way we are treating the people around us in the world. non-discrimination, caring, kindness. And also, one of the things that I think this church is really good at is showing support to the community. So, if there's a storm and there needs to be a community cleanup, or cleaning up the trail that you guys did the other day, or providing the meal to the Ronald McDonald's house, those are all supports that we can provide to the community that demonstrate the values of UUC.
All right, Tina's next, and then we'll come up here to Buffy.
So I had a conversation with Melanie on Zoom, and first of all, hi, Melanie. We were in agreement kind of about, that we need, as you all mentioned, to continue providing moral and physical support to one another, and the many facets that can look like. She also mentioned the pluralism, that she thought it was important that as a congregation we continue to listen to one another and try to understand where each person's coming from in a non-judgmental way. As far as how we demonstrate with the wider community, she had a great idea of perhaps we need to come up with a poster that has our new values on it, that advertises. It serves as two things, an education, but also an invitation to join us for service on Sundays, maybe posting these in the library, the courthouse, at the university, local businesses, places like that. So I don't know if there's been an initiative like that. I don't think so recently. So maybe that would help. And yeah, thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Tina and Melanie. And Melanie just happens to be a very talented artist, and I will be the first to tell her that she is more than welcome to design this poster that she is talking about. I think that's a great idea.
So on the first one, Winnie and I kind of hit the same nail on the head from a different angle, but talked about the importance of supporting everyone and being there to listen. And I had come up with the consideration that we have an actual formal structure for checking in with everyone. Perhaps most of us probably text, those who don't have phones, hopefully, and just have a series of person A and B check in with C, D, and E, and just give them a call in the middle of the week, or, hey, we noticed you weren't at service the last 3 weeks. Is everything okay? Oh, I heard that maybe, your father's not doing well, your sister's sick, and sort of have that, because I think we get caught up in our day-to-day things, and even though we would more than happily support someone, but we don't know they're in need, and maybe they don't feel comfortable reaching out until somebody asks them, what's going on, how are you? So that was the first consideration. And on number two, Winnie was reminding that we need to support people who are perhaps being minimalized and set aside in the community, and finding ways to continue to support everyone in an equitable way. And I'd come up with the idea that have a regular schedule of service projects out in the community, like the ones that we had done, but maybe have someone think ahead and get people to sign up for them, and then maybe advertise them out in the general public. Hey, we're doing this, not so much like waving our flag, hey, we're great, and if you'd like to join us and find more about us. And some ideas were meals at various organizations. Some of the shelters need help with meals, collecting goods, and providing services to things like Habitat for Humanity, and distributing blankets in the winter, in the cold time, and fundraising for other charities, and then including the larger community to join in whatever those interesting fundraisers are.
Thank you, Buffy, and thank you to everyone who shared. In the interest of time, I'm going to close our sharing portion here. But if people are willing to share, continue sharing, and leave your papers in this basket, that will actually really help us. When I say us, I mean the board, because we're actually having our board retreat next Saturday, and this is a really wonderful form of information and input and feedback for us to know what kinds of things people have on their minds as we are thinking about next year and planning for next year. So thank you to everyone. And to wrap up the reflection for today, as a UU congregation, we have the freedom to decide what the shared values mean for our community and how we will implement them in the ways we do things here and how we will demonstrate these values in the wider world. This might mean that we formalize these decisions in a congregational covenant or statement of purpose. Or maybe we can commit to having intentional conversations about what it means to live out our shared values as UUs. We might be motivated to make changes in our congregational culture. Maybe we can make art that celebrates these values and share it with each other. Hey, great minds. And hopefully we can continue learning about each other, about the shared values, and about ourselves.
Let us pause to honor the silences of the world as we enter a brief time of quiet reflection and meditation. Join us as we sing Blessed Spirit of My Life, hymn number 86 in the gray hymnal. Please stand as you are willing and able. Now, let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this church, which is important to so many of us. We gratefully dedicate this offering to the good of the church, the wider community, and the world. And today's collection is going to be donated to the Wood County Humane Society. Half of today's collection is going to support the Wood County Humane Society. We are going to be, on every potluck once a month, we're going to be donating half of our collection to a different charity. If you make automatic pledge payments, please place one of the yellow cards indicating this support in the basket. If you want today's contribution to count toward your annual pledge, please put it in an envelope with your name on the front so we know who to credit it to.
To our closing words for today, which are from Reverend Dr. Sherry Prudhomme, an excerpt from her theological reflection on the proposed revision to Article 2. There is no doubt that our theological heritage, as our present, is filled with paradox, contradiction, failures, successes, shortcomings, and brilliant aspirations. The patchwork quilt of our theological heritage is torn and fraying in places, and it is stunningly vibrant in others. Some sections have been mended or wholly replaced. Articulating theology, as well as living in religious community, is a messy business. As we mature spiritually as a tradition and as people, we develop our capacities to be with the broken and the beautiful, the contradictions and the complexities. As the Unitarian Universalist Association's current president, Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, said in 2018, we are on a journey toward redemption, with the strength of generations, the failure of the everyday, and the deep down gritty messiness that is the promise of our salvation. There is inherent goodness that exists between and among us. I want to honor the weary, ragged miracle that is our living tradition." End quote. With love stitched in from the beginning and sewn throughout the piecing and the mending across the decades, even a worn and ragged quilt provides strength, inspiration, courage, and solace through the long night.
Let us carry the flame of the chalice into the world, serving others with love and a sense of justice. Join me in reading the words provided as we extinguish the chalice. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Before our closing song, we have time for a few brief announcements. Come to the podium if you'd like to make an announcement. And I have an announcement. Last week, I let everyone know that Bob and I are donating our old refrigerator to the church to replace the well-worn one that's in there. And we just need to get it here. We have a truck. We have an appliance dolly. We just need a few bodies to help because we're going to have to turn or slide it into the van because it's not a truck, so it won't be standing up. And then we'll need to get it, out. So we're going to do it on January 12th, which is a Sunday. We're going to do it after service. So we're all going to get into the car, go to my house, pick it up, and bring it back. So This really is dependent on bodies. So if you can help, please let me know. You can let me know during potluck. But we really do need a couple of people who feel strong and confident, and hopefully we can get this done. We do. Right. Well, we still need people to help turn it because it's not going to be able to go standing up into the van. It's going to have to be laid on its back in order to get into the van because the van is not open. So that's why. Awesome. Okay. Oh, awesome. Great. Yay. Okay. So if you want, see me during the potluck, and I can kind of do more details. Thank you, everybody.
Just a couple quick announcements. There is the new directory. I printed up about 10 copies of it. It's out on the little table where our brochures are. So if you want one, grab one. Hopefully the information's correct. There was something else I wanted to make an announcement about. Oh, yes. There's a music survey. We need your input on what you would like to see with the music program here at MVUUC. So copies of the survey are out on the greeting table. Go ahead and fill one out during potluck today, and then there's a basket on the greeting table as well that you can put your completed survey in. So we really need your feedback on that. And finally, I was hoping somebody would bring styrofoam today, but hopefully you saw the article in the newsletter. Any styrofoam that you see, if you see styrofoam in somebody's garbage, grab it, bring it to church, because I can get it recycled. So, yes.
It was in the newsletter, but I just want to reiterate that the Fellowship Committee will not be showing the movie on January 11th. It'll be shown on January 25th at the regular time, 6:30. Will and Harper.
So I am sharing this with Kim's permission. There will be a memorial service for Kim's wife, Connie, on March 31st. There is a sign-up, 22nd, sorry. I have to change the date on that. So we are going to be sending around a sign-up sheet for those who want to help with the planning of the memorial service. We're going to send that sign-up sheet around for the next couple weeks. And then on the 19th, we are going to meet after service to start the actual planning process. So if you'd like to be part of that, sign up and we will get that, hopefully do something wonderful to memorialize Connie.
If you didn't see it in the newsletter, this coming Friday, January 10th, there will be a meeting of the brunch bunch. We'll have brunch and good conversation at Scramblers across from Levis Commons on Route 25. And if you are coming from the Bowling Green direction and you pass the AAA building, you've gone too far. If you're coming the other way, you don't want to go too far past that AAA building because that's kind of my marker. It's standing out there closest to the highway. And so we meet at noon, and I think that January 10th, which is this coming Friday, and hope to see some more people.
Hi, I just want to extend an invitation to people. This is particularly dealing with Bowling Green, but anybody is welcome to come. January 11th, which is this coming Saturday, from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Winter Garden Lodge in Bowling Green. There's going to be a social event for a group that I belong to called Bowling Green Song, or Bowling Green Save Our Neighborhoods. It's a group that's working on housing, climate. We have several task forces revitalizing the housing, coming up with ways to create new housing that is financially accessible. And this is sort of a celebration and a kickoff and encouragement to have more people join us. So if you can come, there'll be a hot chocolate bar and cookies. There'll be activities for kids. Again, Saturday, January 11th, 2 to 4 p.m. at Winter Garden Lodge. Hope you can come.
Do we have any announcements online? All right, thank you. And I do want to remind everyone, March 1st, blood drives start up again. So plan to donate that blood, people. And there will be lots of food. So donate food. Okay. After the closing song, we invite everyone to stay for the potluck. Yay, food. Thanks for coming, everybody. Our closing song, I Seek the Spirit of a Child, hymn number 338. In the gray hymnal, please stand as you are willing and able, and Laura will accompany.
Thanks, everyone.